All right. The main software that I use is OBS Studio. OBS stands for Open Broadcast Software Studio. You can download it easily by going to obsproject.com and slash download. Here you'll have the option of Windows, Apple, and Linux. Right. So right now I'm going through Windows. The main reason is because the simplicity. If you go, you can download using Windows, Apple or Mac software also. I tried this in the beginning, but you do need the NDI plugin for the same, along with Soundflower and such other plugins to get your desktop audio in your stream. But I figure out that understood that if you do it using Windows, right, what happens is you eliminate all of those extra plugins that you require, and it makes the entire process very, very simple. And that's what we need right now, simplicity. So that's why we are going with the bootcamp version on my Mac for the Windows. So we'll download the Windows. You have the option of installing here. I would not go through the same again because I already have it installed. I'll explain the entire layout for the OBS Studio also. So here we have multiple options. You can ignore this multiple output right now. I'll explain that. That is what helps me multi-stream, which helps me be able to stream on Twitch as well as YouTube and Facebook live at the same time without losing any quality. Uh, I'll explain this later along with where you can download this plugin from. Right now, let's see what all options do we have. What are there are scenes, sources, audio mixer, transition, and the controls. I'll explain to you all of these using one of the my primary setup, which is basically, let's see, for the scenes part of it, we have the start scene. Scene basically are the main the tools where you can add the sources to. The reason why we segregate all of these is so that you can have different multiple options. I'll explain it to you in a second how it works is. So let's say for the start scene. So this is what you see when I start my stream. Before I directly get in the gameplay, you get to see this along with the music that I'm playing in the background. Music, you can use multiple options. You can either have the music that you already have downloaded on your laptop or your PC, or you can use what I do. I use Spotify, right? So for that, we need to turn on the desktop audio. Let's say, for example, if I'm using Spotify and I'm playing one of these songs, right? So if when I turn it on, you will see the desktop audio move, right? When I pause it, it will not work. So the reason why I'm using the Bootcamp Windows on Mac is because of this. If I wanted to do the same on a Mac, right? For example, a Mac, the MacBook Pro that I have, I would have to download a separate plugin called Soundflower. Now that makes it somewhat complicated because it does not work most of the time for me. I'm not sure what I've tried multiple options, I've tried multiple ways to do it, but for sometimes it stops working midway. So that's why I didn't want to take that risk because I want a smooth stream. I don't want any issues happening throughout the stream. That's the reason I prefer this Windows version. And anywho, so we are playing, I do play a lot of games like Rocket League and Valorant, right? So I played this on my MacBook itself. And for those, I do need Windows. So anywho, anywho needed Windows, so I thought I'll do it using this. It is a boot camp, that is. So now we understood what a scene is. Let's look at the sources. You can add multiple sources, that is audio input capture. What I'll do is I'll only explain the sources that I use because there are a lot of sources like audio input, output, color source, right? Image slideshow, extra scenes within the sources that so those are some which I've never used and never I think would use because those are not required as such. So for example, here what happens is I can have, as you saw, right, all of my scene sources, everything has gone away. That's because I created a test scene collection. Here I can start afresh as a test scene. Creating is very easy. You click on new and add the name that you want. I added the name that is test. Here for the scene, you can always rename the scene. Let's say this is the start screen. I want to add an image. So I go to the image. I rename the image name as in start. You can select from your browser sources I go to my images. This is uh, I use this part as one of the start screens. Also, the background is a media source. So that's why you select media source, because this is something, a loop file which I can always loop. I can increase or decrease the speed of the file. You can rearrange the sources so that this one man, this one army man, right, that I've named, I can always resize it and move it. Now, once I think that okay, this looks fine, I don't want the media source to move, I can lock it. So now whatever I click, it would not move. I'll only take action on this now, right? So locking it makes it easier to interact with it, and make sure that you don't accidentally resize it or hide it. Hiding it is very easy, but mostly it's for resizing purposes. So this is basically how it looks like. For in my scene connection, you see a lot of options that I've added. So you'll see a lot of details here that are added, latest follower, subscriber on Twitch, also latest subscriber on YouTube, the super chat I've received, the total number of subscribers and followers I have, and what my goals are for YouTube and Twitch, right? So these you can add using different options. What I use is Stream Elements. You can use the same if you want to. Let's say if I'm logging in using Twitch, creating this overlays is very, very easy, right? For example, let me show you the first page that we have right now here, right? So here, this is a part of, I've named it as start page Twitch events, right? So it's easier to recognize what page I'm looking for. So here I've created separately for Twitch as well as YouTube. So now you can easily add labels that you want the latest subscriber, right? You want only the latest subscriber or want the latest new subscriber. Uh, Along with that, you want the latest resubscriber. You have a lot of options here. You can explore these labels as you want, right? Latest follower, the most recent follower, you want all the recent follower list. So here you can select up to 4 or 5 minimum, and the all-time follower count that I have, then the all-time follower count you see here, right? That is using this list here, labels, followers, total all-time follower count. So once you get the number basically, and then you can click on it. Let's say for this, right, in the settings, I can rename it. If I want to change it to 30, you will see the same reflecting here, 30. But right now, let's move to 20, and then you can save. I'll suggest to do everything on a separate overlay. Let's say because my alerts are separate, completely different alerts. The Twitch alerts I have completely on a separate, created a separate overlay for the same. And while you're creating an alert overlay, for example, this is actually not a tutorial for this, but just a um, quick understanding of how it works. When you're creating a blank overlay, make sure the resolution is what resolution you have here. That is in the settings part of it. You see the video part of it. It's 1920 by 1080. Make sure that your overlay is 1080p. It matches that. Otherwise, it will not look good at all. You'll have a lot of confusion, and sometimes it will not fill the page the way you want. The way you're arranging this, it will not work out that way. So this is basically that simple. And when you want to add that, all you have to do is, for example, if I'm going here, you have the copy link option here. Copy overlay URL. Once you've copied the URL, you come here, press go to browser source. You click on browser, you paste your URL here. That's it. That's all you have to do. And then you'll have your alerts here. You would 100% need a lot of trial and error. You'll have to check whether the overlay is placed perfectly or not. You can easily test the same by going to this tool here, and you have the option of emulating. So if I'm emulating a follower event, for example, uh, let's say one follower event, right? I'll see this option reflecting here also. Oh, my alerts are here. My bad. So when I am making any changes here, let's say I am testing one follower, right? You'll see this option here popping. This is what you are getting here. So that's how you can try trial and errors, and you'll see which works for you the best. I'll move back to the start scene here. Along with that, you see a lot of options in the audio mixer. Uh, for any issues, any doubts that you have for the scenes part of it, sources part of it, and as you move on, you can always let me know in the comment section, and I'll try to address all your doubts if possible. If I have any queries myself, I'll make sure that I get the right answers for you. Now moving on to the audio part of it, audio mixer. So as you start adding sources, all the sources which have audio will get added here, right? Right now I don't want mic. I think I have an audio issue. I'll have to mute this. Ha, no worries. So here what happens is now, once I've added this audio, once you see, right, I added the YouTube start info. So you'll see the option for the audio alerts here also, YouTube start info, right? Because these don't have audio attached to them, I always keep them in mute just in case, right? But if you, like, for example, for the mic part of it, I'll get that to you back in the setting part, no worries. So for the same, you may make sure that the mic is on, otherwise people will not be able to hear you. And the scene transitions. Right now, I have an animated scene transition design. So my brother designed it for me. So when I change scenes, for example, if I go from start to game, you see something like this with a small audio clip, and then you move to the new screen. So this is something that you can work on. If not, there are a lot of simple transitions available like cut, where it just moves. If you want, you can have fade option, where I can slowly fade, right? So you can change the duration also for the same, depending on what you want. You can customize accordingly. So if you are starting new, if you don't have an idea how to go about it, start simple, right? Then you can work ahead towards it. You have a lot of services like Fiverr where you can pay someone to get this singers the transitions design, right? So depending on what your budget is, you can get it customized and designed. The same way you can do multiple options for game. So while gaming, this is what you'll see on my screen. I have an option for be right back. So sometimes you do need to take urgent breaks if I get a very important call from my family, because it overrides the DND mode. So for such scenes, I do need a be right back screen. I have created two options. One is translucent and one is opaque. In the translucent, you can see the background, right? You can still see my phone if it is connected to the stream. I have a talk option. So let's say where there are some amazing donations that I want to talk to you, or there are certain points that I want to make sure that you know. So this is the part that I see. I do have a green screen here, which I'm not using right now. That I'll add once we go into settings part of it. So right now you see this entire thing right here. This entire is a green screen. It's a portable green screen that I've made out of basically tools that I had lying around. This is something that I just wanted to mention. Along with that, we have the options, the same browser settings that we mentioned, the follower streams, the follower goals on the top here. Same, you can add an end screen. Here, what happens is once you're ending the stream, you want to make sure that all the information is accurate here, right? I do have an overlay issue problem here, so I'll connect it because I'm still figuring out what details I want mentioned on my streams, right? So let's say I'll remove these details for now. So this is basically it looks like. You can have the desktop audio and the music playing when your stream ends. Let's go for the settings now. So when you install OBS for the first time, the OBS would itself scan your current system and make sure you have the best settings installed in the first go. If you want to make changes, you can always do that. In the general part of it, I make no changes here unless you want to automatically record while you're streaming. I do not do that. I don't require that. That's why I've not turned it on. You can turn this automatic check for updates on startup. I keep it on because I want to know what's happening. Because the OBS is an open broadcast tool. So multiple people can make multiple changes. You get an entire summary of what changes are there in the update. You can choose to install it still. This will just check for the updates. For the stream part of it, you can add the service that you want. The server for Twitch is auto recommended is what I use, and the stream key. The stream key, you can find it in your creator dashboard. So when you click on get stream key, it will ask you to log in, and you can check your primary stream key here. Same for YouTube. YouTube, it is not that difficult. You go to youtube.com, click on your name, go to YouTube Studio. Once you are in YouTube Studio, you can click on go live. Schedule the stream. This is something that they've changed recently. Let me just reuse the settings and make sure that this is private so that people don't get notification for the same. Once you've created a stream successfully, in the stream settings, make sure the stream key is not visible to anyone while you do not share this key with anyone, because if someone has access to your key, right, they can stream to your account. You can just copy directly from the key from here, and once you've copied, you can paste the same here along with the server. It depends on what service is using. You can change accordingly. Right, so this is both the ways for YouTube as well as Twitch. So how do you get your stream key? So once you've added those details here, you can move to the output. By default, it will be on simple. Do not stay on simple, stay advanced. Here you have multiple options. You have a higher control power. In streaming, right now, because I'm streaming from my MacBook, I am using QuickSync. This is the hardware part of it. 264 is the software. I click on QuickSync. Rescale output is 720p because Twitch, I'm not a Twitch partner yet. I cannot stream at 1080p. That's why it does not make sense sending a 1080p stream to Twitch. Rescale the output to 720. The target usage is quality, profile is main, keyframe is 2 or 2 is recommended for non-partners. Control rate bit is CBR. The bitrate is 4000. You can change the bitrate as per your internet speed. How do you check the bitrate? You go to speed test. I only take speed test by Ookla. It's more accurate, is what I have understood. The download speed is something that does not matter a lot. What matters is the upload speed. So that's what we're looking for. I do not have a lot of jitter, is what you see here. So right now I'll go with the 119 Mbps speed, right? So that's what we need. I do not want to speed any more than 4000 kbps, that is 4 Mbps is what the bitrate that I have given the option here. I can speed a stream at higher bitrate. Let's say if I want to go for 4500, right, this is 4.5 Mbps. If, for example, if your internet speed is not as high, what you can do is, if let's say for example this is 10 Mbps, right? You want to make sure that this it does not exceed 3500 kbps. If your maximum speed, if the maximum upload speed that you're getting is 10 point something, right? Make sure this does not exceed 3500. Otherwise, the stream will be laggy, and we don't want a laggy stream ever. The latency is normal, and the B frames is 3. Audio, everything you should remain sample rate would be 48,000 hertz. And the desktop audio is default. Desktop audio 2 is not required, as I've disabled it. You see the mic option, right? So if you are using a separate mic, it will show the, you can select that mic as an for the microphone. I have selected a USB-C to 3.5 mm headphone jack, that I have a separate microphone that I use other than headphones that I've added here. If you'll see the option for the headphones if I add my headphones here, right? So you can select your microphone that you want uh, for the stream, right? And all the while you're playing a game, and let's say for PUBG Mobile, right? This mic is what your teammates will hear. So make sure you are using a proper mic. No other changes need to be made here. If you're using multiple microphones, you can change accordingly. Right now, everything is disabled because I'm not using, I'm just focusing on one microphone. For the video, because for this part, right, the multi-output, this is the reason I've not rescaled it here, but I rescaled it here because this is where the Twitch stream goes to. This is where my Twitch as well as YouTube goes to, but it downscales or rescales the output for Twitch here, but I don't need a rescaled output. I stream at 1080p at 60 fps on YouTube. Downscale filter Lankos is something that works beautifully. It does not give me any issues. It does not create a blurry stream. Hotkeys, if you want to make sure, let's say for starting the stream, I have Control S, different controls for audio muting. If I want to, change my desktop audio, I want to mute, unmute on desktop audio or the video capture device. So that way you can use this. In the advanced, I've made no changes except for color range. I've moved to full and the color space to sRGB because that is the new option we have in the update. Previously, it was just 709 and 601. sRGB gives a much better colors for your stream. And those are all the changes that you need to make for a good stream. If any issues, you can always let me know. Now, let's say for this camera, you want to make. I'll also explain the filters part of it here. So for the webcam, you select filters. You can see I have you can see here I have chroma key, color correction, and crop pad available. If I don't have crop pad, you'll see a much bigger, wider screen here. I don't want that much wide screen. That's why I'm using crop pad. So it just focuses on the center part here because I don't have a crazy green screen available with me. So for color correction, just to make sure that the colors are perfect depending on the lighting that I have, right? I have multiple lights here and here. So for those reasons, and the chroma key. If I turn off chroma key, you'll see the green screen. So this is the green screen color. If I turn on the green screen, you will see that there's nothing behind it. That's how green screens present. The chroma key filter works. You can always customize the chroma key. If I want right now it's 420. If I completely increase it, it will disappear depending on how much cover I want to do, depending on your green screen, right? You can change. This is again a lot of trial and error depending on where you're placing the green screen. This color filter the number of the filter that you're adding here would change. So make sure that is done correctly. The next filter that I want to talk about, which is more important right now, is the mic filter. You generally see a lot of background noise coming. Right now, I'm not sure because I'm not recording directly from the OBS because I wanted to show you a lot of features here which get disabled if I turn on the recording option. So that's why. So let's say there are a lot of honking sounds outside, or for example, if there is a vacuuming going on behind me or somebody is closing the door, right? So all those sounds that I don't want captured in my microphone, including the keyboard, right? Keyboard and the mouse clicks. You turn on this noise suppression. With the last update, we have an option of R noise, which is much better as compared to the specs that which was used earlier. This came by default. You see the suppression level you can change here. That is something that I do not want and will focus on RN noise. This gives a much clearer, much better noise cancellation than before. Second is noise gate. Let's say when I'm not talking, right? That will still capture some audio from behind me. If there's someone talking behind me, for example, right? This what it does is it makes sure that it only captures the audio above certain frequency level. Let's say right now it's 38 decibels and minus 28 decibels. Any audio below that it would not capture. If I turn it off, for example, let me just show you. If I turn it off, you'll see the decibel is much higher. If I turn it on, it remains clear, but the tapping sound, you see the tapping sound, right? It's capturing that right now. But if I turn this on, There was no tapping sound that was captured there. That's the reason why you turn on the noise gate at 38 and 28 decibels. So those are all the filters that I wanted to make sure that we are covering. That is all that is required right now here. There are certain options for the profile part of it. Now the profile, how it changes is you see two options, profile and scene collection. Profile is when I'm streaming here. You see Twitch and YouTube. This multiple output will always stay the fix. It will always show YouTube. Or if I'm adding one more, if I'm adding a new target, I can add Facebook here. The setting here for the stream, this is what we need to change. This is Twitch. Now, for example, if I want to create a new profile where I am streaming, sometimes I stream only on YouTube and Facebook and not on Twitch. In such cases, I can add a new profile where, let me just show it to you. Add Facebook, right? So I'll give you these options. It will ask, these are the same options that you get when you're streaming, when you're setting up OBS for the first time, right? So I want Facebook live. I'll ask for the stream key. I enter the stream key and I'll get it here. Instead of Twitch, it would show Facebook, right? We don't want that, so we'll remove it. The last thing that we will focus on is the multiple output option. So let's see, because you can see the option of YouTube, you see YouTube written there, right? The link for this would be in the description below. Make sure you click on this link here, go to downloads and download this plugin. Once downloaded, in your downloaded folders, you see this option here, right? You copy all of these data, all of these folders here, right? For this plugin, and make sure you paste them in C drive where the OBS studio file is, and just paste them here. You'll have the data and OBS plugin options, not the bin part of it. So make sure you're copy pasting it here. Once pasted here, just restart your OBS and you'll have this option here. If you don't see this here, just go to view, docs, and multiple output. So once you click on multiple output, you'll see this output doc will be visible to you. Once there, you can click on a new target. Let's say I'm clicking on YouTube. The reason I'm not showing it here is because of the stream key. Now the RMTP server and stream key, once you paste the stream key, it does not show the dots or stars as it does generally. So that's the reason I would not be showing it there. You can put your RMTP server, which you can copy paste from the place that we saw the stream key at. Now for the RMTP server, you can directly copy paste the RMTP server and stream key easily. You can use the name and that is not needed. For the encoder, I have the option set to 264. Now what it does, it's because as we saw earlier, right? So for Twitch, it uses the hardware encoder, and for YouTube, I use the software encoder. The reason being so that it makes sure, I'll just show you what happens in the performance here. You can see the CPU usage and GPU usage, right? So they both need to be equal. So when I'm streaming using the hardware encoder, the GPU usage shoots up. If I'm streaming using 264 encoder, the CPU usage shoots up. That's the reason I want to give a balance. If I focus this also on GPU, if I put all the pressure of the encoding for YouTube on GPU, it would shoot up to 100% usage and the stream would lag. I don't want that. That's the reason I'm doing it here. Using this, that's the advantage. The resolution, you can always select the OBS settings. The bitrate for YouTube, I use 4000 bitrate, which is more than enough. I have never seen any issues that I've faced for YouTube. If you think you can push it up, 5000 is perfect. The keyframe is 3, and you can click on OK, because for the audio part, for Twitch and YouTube, you don't need any changes among those two. Just the video encoding is what you need to focus on. You click on OK, and it will be added here. So now I cannot start streaming directly. right? It will ask to get encoders and please start streaming for the OBS for once. So I need to start streaming, click on start streaming first, and then start here. Then it will start streaming Facebook and Twitch automatically at the same time. You will definitely see a shoot up here in the total Ethernet, that is the internet, because it would stream at a total of here what we added was 4,000, right? 4,000 kbps plus the 5,000, that is 9,000 kbps. So in this taskbar, in the performance for Ethernet, you'll see a 9 to 10 Mbps upload speed here. So that is, you will see from there, you'll understand what the stream quality, if there are any issues between either any of those two options, that is Twitch or YouTube streaming, you'll see the difficulties you're facing there. That will give you indication of everything is going smoothly or not. So that's it, guys. I hope this video helps. If you have any doubts, can you please let me know in the comment section below. Any doubts regarding the OBS Studio or my hardware setup, what software that, what hardware components that I use, any of the adapters that you want to know about, anything that you want to know, please let me know in the comment section below. And along with that, also for the multi-stream option, right? So if you're facing any issues with the multi-stream, you can let me know in the comments also. Please make sure that you do some trial and error before you go live. All the settings for the green screen along with the mic, please make sure that you have tested it properly before you go live, right? With that, I like to say thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe if you have found this video useful, and most importantly, hit the like button. That will show your support a lot, and your support actually means a lot to me and to this channel. Thank you so much. See you next time.